Welcome back. I'm joined on the line now by David Fitzsimons, who's the Group Chief Executive with Retail Excellence Ireland. And I'm going to talk to him now about an Invest Waterford strategy, which is being held in the city on Wednesday. Delighted you could join me, David. Thanks very much.
Hi, Julie. No problem at all.
This sounds like a very exciting prospect. Tell us about the Invest Waterford strategy.
Yeah, so it's not a written document or a plan or whatever. It's just simple common sense. Basically, Michael Walsh and I've known Michael for over a decade, have decided to work together and to bring lots of retail CEOs that should have stores in the city but currently don't, down to the city next Wednesday to walk, obviously, the beautiful city of Waterford, see the trading opportunity and hopefully open stores. So, the fundamental to a city or a town doing well is having a brilliant offer, having brilliant public realm and having brilliant citizen engagement. And the offer in Waterford could be improved. So Michael and I have drafted a list of retailers we'd like to see open in Waterford, and I've invited them down. So really looking forward to being in Waterford next Wednesday.
Tell us about some of the retailers that will be here for that.
Yeah, now some of them would be, I suppose, some of the big global fashion brands. And we're, I suppose, dealing with them differently. But there's lots of others like Butler's Chocolate Cafes and Tiger stores and Sisters Green and stores like that are really on trend, that aren't in Waterford, that will have people in the county coming into the city because now the offer has improved. So we really need to impress upon those CEOs that they need to open in Waterford. That Waterford is a happening place. There's lots of money to be made in Waterford. And if we get them to open, I can guarantee that everyone will improve. All of the traders, retailers in the city will see a higher footfall and more commercial activity. So, look, it's a credit to Michael Walsh, Michael Quinn, Maureen, Fitzsimons, Claire, all of the County Council staff who have been so proactive in making this happen. Yeah.
Do you have any idea why no one has come up to now? I mean, we've often been told that we just don't have the retail space, or that retailers are looking for much bigger units that don't exist in Waterford, and that's been a stumbling block up to now.
Yeah, like Waterford's offer is really good. We just need to improve it a little bit. So there are vacant units that we can fill. Obviously, the North Quay is another big development where you're going to have big, bright white space, which will allow you to appeal to a different tier of retailer and indeed, users of that space. So. Yeah, this is just common sense. Like for years, I suppose county councils were kind of didn't act in the whole retail investment realm. And we as an organisation, I suppose, weren't as proactive as we should have been in terms of motivating retailers to come and open. But Michael Walsh and I have sat down and decided this needs to happen for Waterford. So it's really exciting, and I want to thank some of the Waterford retailers like Ronan Mulligan and Paul Lennon, Sienna and Kevin Jeston, our team, and David McCoy and Waterford Crystal, who will act as kind of ambassadors for the city next Wednesday. They will lead the tours, they will talk up the city, and hopefully we'll see investment on the back of it.
Okay, so tell us the format then. So there's about 30 to 40 CEOs who'll come to Waterford, and they'll be split into groups. Is it with these kind of leading Waterford retailers who'll show them around? Is that the idea?
That's it, yeah. So Michael and I will kick off proceedings. Michael's going to present on the short and medium term plan for the city and why come and invest. All of the jobs that are in the city, all of the local spend that's made in the city. The four leaders will then lead the tours, bring the retailers around. They'll be going to the Viking Quarter. They'll be looking at the street with a roof, Baron Strand Street, all that kind of stuff. We'll go through City Square. And we'll come back then to the County Council offices, have a chat, and hopefully we'll see some retail investment on the back of it. We did something very similar in Limerick in 2016, and it led to 36 stores opening in the inner core of the city, which was a brilliant success. So we want to do the same in Waterford, and we're really looking forward to a positive afternoon in Waterford City next Wednesday.
Well, I think that definitely sounds very exciting, and from what you've said, you'd be reasonably confident then that we will see an uplift in retail investment arising from this.
I absolutely would. I don't think these CEOs would be down in the city if they weren't considering opening. I also think they'll be really impressed with Michael Walsh. Michael is one of the best chief executives around, and if you look at your mayoral vote from last week, how it kind of failed narrowly. But I do believe that was indicative of the fact that people believe in Michael and his team and the plan he has for the city and indeed the wider county, and they want him to get on and deliver it. So, fair play to the County Council staff.
I mean, this was one final point maybe to put to you, David. I think you're spot on what you say about the leadership that's coming from Waterford Council, and there is a lot of positive developments in business in Waterford. What about the role of the people in Waterford as well, though, in supporting business? Is there anything that that they can do?
There is. So, like, some of the stuff I'm discussing with Michael would involve better communication to citizens of Waterford County and City. So, like, mummies and daddies get the texts from GAA clubs and dancing and whatever about the kids. So it'll say next Wednesday, the GAA match is on at 5 p.m. We need to start doing that for Waterford City. So what does that mean? We should have a My Waterford database where people sign up and say, yeah, I'm interested in finding out what's going on in my city. And we need to start bulk texting and sending e-zines to people, giving them reasons to come into the city. And that could be like a Halloween hunt, or a Halloween event, or an Easter egg hunt, or it could be an outdoor cinema night, or a food festival, or whatever. It's mini Wintervals, So the fundamental to the commercial success of Waterford City is probably not getting tourists to come from the States. The fundamental to success is getting people in the wider conurbation of Waterford to turn left into the city instead of going right to their village or Dublin or wherever they do their shopping. And that's fundamental, because on a grey day in December, we're not going to have American tourists walking around, but we could have thousands of local people coming in to shop and to enjoy their city. So this isn't just about commerce. This is about society. This is about providing a public realm and a place where people congregate, where they meet one another, where we develop a real sense of community, So there's loads of little things we can do in Waterford City. It starts next Wednesday, and I would be really, really positive about the future of the city in Waterford. I think you've got incredible people there, some brilliant retailers, great offer, the best public realm in the country, and I kid you not, it is the best public realm in the country. So we're just making a few more little amendments and improvements, and the future is bright.
Lovely. David Fitzsimons, on that positive note, we wish you the very best of luck with the event on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll see the fruits of your labour in the coming months.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, David. Bye-bye. Enterprise Ireland this week announced its export performance in global markets for 2018. Joining me now to have a chat about it is Martin Corkery, who is the Regional Director for the South and South East. Martin, it's been a good year for Enterprise Ireland, judging by these latest results.
Yeah, so the figures for 2018 have just been released this week, and they've indicated again a record year of growth for companies across the country, where the figures have tallied to just under 24 billion of exports into worldwide markets. So again, that's the largest number recorded by Enterprise Ireland companies. And just to give some context maybe, so if you look in 2009, that figure was at 12.9 billion, and it has now grown to 23.8 billion over that period of time. So significant growth by our companies in international markets across a wide variety of sectors. And we're looking for that growth to continue towards 2020, where, as an organisation, we've looked at setting a target to achieve over 26 billion worth of export sales by 2020 from our client base.
Okay, so that seems quite achievable based on the growth so far, over the past 10 years, certainly.
Yes, so we've seen steady growth year on year, and again 2018 was no different to that. So we saw 6% growth from 2017, again across a variety of sectors. And again, our goal and our aim, notwithstanding some of the economic challenges that are facing some of our client companies, that we will see that figure grow towards 26 billion by 2020.
Yeah, and this is a year, particularly in a year that was dominated by Brexit. And I mean, client companies have been impacted by that, haven't they?
There is no doubt, and they have told us that, because I suppose we did survey about 2,000 clients during the year. And some of the data points, it was interesting feedback they gave us, that they have been impacted, and they project to be impacted, I suppose, going forward in 2019. The areas that they've kind of told us where they expect to see impact is obviously in areas like revenue and exports, and also things like profitability and their ability to invest, either have investment available or making decisions to focus where that investment may be, particularly with the uncertainty of what Brexit is showing at the moment.
And I know from talking to you throughout the year that a big focus, of course, has been to try and encourage expansion into other markets and to kind of decrease that reliance on the UK. How has that been?
So again, in 2018, I suppose it would be fair to say that while we are looking to decrease the reliance on the UK, we still recognise that the UK is going to be a hugely important market. Will be the first market in many instances for a lot of our client companies. And a lot of the export sales won to date have been hard earned. So we expect and we will encourage companies to keep continuing to do that. What we are doing is looking, can we reduce the reliance on the level of exports our client companies have in the UK? So to date, again, we've seen a growth in our exports in 2018 in the UK, but we have seen that figure is just under 8 billion at 7.9 billion. But as a percentage of the overall exports from client companies, that is now 33% of the total exports from our client base, and that has dropped significantly. Typically, since 2007, that figure has dropped from 44%. So it's on a downward curve from that perspective. While the value is increasing, the reliance on the UK market is decreasing, and we're really encouraging our companies, while they should still consider and focus the UK as an opportunistic market, to also look at new markets or other markets, particularly markets like the Eurozone, which is going to be a big focus from our organisation, where we'll work closely with our clients, looking for them to grow their sales over the next few years.
Yeah, so we see there from the results that exports to the Eurozone rose by 7.5%, while exports to North America rose 5.5%. But exports to Asia Pacific took a slight dip. Yeah,
so I suppose that has taken a slight challenge, and I suppose there's been a few impacts around the Chinese economy. The growth has slowed slightly, while it's still over 6%, which is quite significant. But coming from where they have been, it has slowed, and that has impacted on some of the export figures we have seen there. And as well as that, things with some of the challenges in that market at the moment will also probably have slowed down some of the buying decisions that have happened there. While we expect that market to continue to grow into the future, we have seen some peaks and troughs in it. But I know from speaking with actually our China team last week, they expect to see continued growth in that market in years to come, and are working quite a lot in opening up new opportunities, particularly in the dairy and the food sector, for client companies into that market.
Okay, so how about the year ahead then? How's it looking? What's your assessment?
Yeah, so again, the year ahead, there's no doubt in saying it is a year of uncertainty. So we have Brexit is upon us again in October, and yet we are as uncertain now as we may have been back for the end of March deadline. So there is no doubt that we will again see some peaks and troughs during the year, and it will have an impact on our client companies. There is no doubt about that. So from our perspective, really, we're really working with our companies, looking to improve their levels of planning. Can we do more around their innovation, look at new diversification, new markets, and look at their competitiveness. This is, I suppose, a strategy we've been working very closely with, or very hard on over the last 2 years. As we know, it will take time before you see the impact of changing a new market or putting a new process or product into the marketplace. So what we're really doing is encouraging companies to ensure that they are looking at it, they are doing something about it, and talking to Enterprise Ireland about how they can assist them in either a new market or looking to support new innovation opportunities. Because without looking or doing this type of follow-up, companies may be in a position in years to come where they are left behind. So we really need them to be planning now and to be in a position to grow into the future.
Yeah, and when you talk about the client companies and growth, give us some examples of some of the companies you've been working with in the Southeast and in Waterford in particular that have been experiencing good growth this year.
So we've seen some great announcements across the southeast during 2019 of companies that are winning new business and growing in international markets. So if you look at the southeast initially, you have companies like Netwatch, which have out of Carlow, which have grown significantly. Cairn, which announced new jobs in both Kilkenny and Wexford over the last few weeks, again growing significantly because of new customers and contracts from international markets for one. And from a water perspective, we've seen companies like Relay Care and Immersive VR, talk about their expansions into the US, and I see Immersive announced a new contract recently in Korea. These are the type of companies we're working with, both here on the ground, supporting their growth plans, and also as well through our network of 35 offices around the world, where we're looking to introduce them into new customers and helping them grow their markets and grow their opportunities in those particular markets where they see the opportunity.
Okay, great. We'll leave it there. Thanks so much. Martin Corkery, Southern Director for Enterprise Ireland.
Business coverage with Enterprise Ireland.
The New Market Discovery Fund, helping businesses prepare to enter new markets. Globalambition.ie